Hey, good morning. It's really great pleasure for me to come back because I've been here almost 20 years ago, TED4 Kobe. How many of you guys were in Kobe, TED4? Great. It's a great place to share the idea, learn so many stuff, but also connecting peoples. In this event, 1993, I met Nicolas Negropontes. I often call Nico-chan Dayo. Next year, he headhunted me in Atlanta. Then I moved to MIT. Today, I'd like to share some reflection about 311. Kondo-san gave a great perspectives from a social media point of view. Also, I thought a lot what really happened, what could be learned, what could be shared to the next generations. March 11th, 1446, the series of earthquakes hit. Then subsequent tsunamis, then resulting in a nuclear crisis, as many of you. So how to respond to these crises, really important questions. And as already you saw, so many new hashtags, so many people have a good wills, good mind, try to help each other. But all this timeline is so rapid streams, nobody can really manage or catch up. So how to make these informations manageable, how to organize information, how to decrease entropy, usable, is a real challenge from an information technology point of view. So for me, connecting people and people, be loved one who are missed. Connecting people informations. I know somebody bringing water. Where can I get the water? Where I should be there? I need the medicines. I'm here. Who can deliver it? I have a truck, but I don't have gasoline. I have a gasoline, but I don't have permission. I don't know which road I can go. All this information has to be connected together so that connecting people, information, and resources seems to be one of the important challenges. I'd like to shed the light for crisis mapping. Mapping is important. If information is geotagged, you can really anchor all information to the geographical information system that dramatically decrease the entropy. Crisis mapping and also crowdsourcing and enlarge collective intelligence. That's the grand vision my hero, Dan Engelbart, came up many, many years ago. So I'd like to show quickly some of the examples. The great news is I'm here. Bad news, I have only 10 minutes. So Ushahidi is one of the great infrastructure of open source crisis mapping. It's already demonstrated power in the Sumatra tsunami, but the Haiti earthquake. Then people worked very hard. So in next day, already Shinsai Info, using the same infrastructure, Ushahidi started collecting all the information automatically or manually. This is a great accomplishment. Speed is a key. Also, Google did a remarkable job. They have a crisis response team. And for me, most impressive part is people need the information about where my loved one is. But all the network, telephone is dead. So last thing they did is using a handwritten list of the roster of the people who safely evacuated into shelters. But there's no way to really share this information. Everybody have to visit all the shelters to see if my loved one, family is there. So Google encourage people, grab your cellular phones, charge up your batteries, then go to these shelters from the area who are not really suffered, then shoot the photos, upload to Picasas, then share it. Then next, crowdsourcing. You guys, stop watching TV. Please donate your time. Cognitive surplus. Why don't you help us to transcribe Japanese language? If you know Japanese language, then turn into the text, code, EUC, ABCD, shift this, whatever, which machine can search for you. So now all this information went to these person finders. This stream of the information, many people work together, is so important. Radiations. Now many people having a Geiger counters, then measuring, then uploading, sharing. This is the data from Fukushima Prefecture. Patchway is another great open source platform of the other sensor data. But I think this is the first time they use to aggregate all the data from Geiger counters about radiation. Now you can see in Fukushima area near nuclear power plant, it's deadly bright. But Tokyo, it's okay. But many people do not see this difference, that doesn't understand how wind or water may work. So they just panicked. Then ask all the people evacuated from Japan. So we lost so many people. So scientific communications, crowdsourcing, sharing is so important. This is another variation of 3D view mapped to the Google Earth. Infrastructure like a map Earth is so important. Also crowdsourcing, connecting, making information manageable. So connecting people and the information resource, there's so many lessons we can learn. This is only a tiny portion. I learned so much in the past 3 months. I collected so much data to Evernote. How many of you using Evernote? It's great. But I have to ask Evernote guy, oh, I used all the 1 gigabyte. Can you give me more? It's so important. So don't miss this opportunity of lessons. So many things you can learn, digest later. But important thing, it got to be open. In the beginning, radical openness was claimed. If it's not open, it's dead. All your supply chain in the company is corporate secret. But in the crisis of supply chain, because all the companies providing certain key materials, everything's stuck. Unless you make open, you cannot restructure, repair the new kind of the global supply chain, for example. Crowdsourcing, humans' most powerful entities. It's not necessarily computational readables, machine readable, human readable. Photon is great, photo is great, photo sharing is great, but in the end, we need to translate so the machine, dumb machine can still search. Crowdsourcing, mashup and curation is so important. So many volunteers started collecting similar information, but in the end, you have to really aggregate. Also, beautifully layered. How many of you are using a flipboard on the iPad? So you know what I mean, what site. So many sources of information, but you need a consistent experiences, seamless experiences to digest all these informations. Also filtering, prioritization. So curation is a key. The market and the market of supply and demand. Somebody desperately needs medicines. Somebody have a truck. Somebody has a gasoline. How to connect those people is also important. Amazon used wish list for the gift to help those kind of entities. They have an infrastructure, but also they need volunteers like us or you guys. So many Twitter volunteers appeared in the Twitter sphere. So there are certain signs of the hope towards reconstructions. So the keyword came from the bamboo talk of the Garth Reynolds, is resilient. How to make world resilient to another series of the crisis. They don't stop. They keep coming. Energy, financial, natural disaster, environmental crisis. So it's nice to make world fun, was happy or wealthy, but the most important is how to make the world resilient. How to quickly make world recover from the next series of disasters seems important goals. In that context, the role of the collective intelligence will be much more bigger. That's great, but the time is running out. Oh my gosh. One of my most favorite poet, Kenji Miyazawa, came from Tohoku areas, Iwate Prefecture, where I traveled a lot using night trains, and I read his poems so many times. I follow a lot of the people, but the most favorite people is deceased poets, the bots, because their tweet is so condensed and so stimulating. Like a Kenji Miyazawa, Ameiji Totechi Kenja. Arigato, watashi no kenage na imoto desu. Every word strikes me, makes me think, why I received this message? There must be some meaning, profound meaning. So there's no random stuff. Everything has a reason, necessity. So I have to decode the meaning. That's my training of the creativities. But problem is, this is all the 2012 font, beautiful stuff. But the real poems I saw in Hanamaki, his museum, is amazing. 102 manuscripts, which really captures all the traces of his body, spirit, struggles, write and rewrite, yellow papers and spread ink. He couldn't really come up with a way to express his grief, losing beloved young sister, Toshiko. So, but in the end, his poem went to not only the personal grief, but the level of the religious level. It's amazing. But seeing this process is such a pleasure for me. But before seeing this one, I only knew the beautifully printed books. Book is great, font is great for mass productions and the standardization, also internet. But something missing is this. traces of physical presence or structure of the spirit is sometimes so important for the arts. So I want to see artists stand up and complain. Why do you remove all the most important stuff? Why do you only put the clean final stuff? Also, the consumer like me should really stand up. So these traces stimulate imagination. Then art is completed. With your imagination, the art piece is completed. So haiku, tanka is much more powerful than the perfect HD TV movie. That's my point. So I want to show one piece I did for my most loved woman, my mom. So this is a piece called Music Bottles. I want to show how we can extend affordance of the simple bottle, opening, cloning, to the digital domain. Now you can put anything you can imagine, speech or poems. So it's nice music. Also went to glass blowing studio to make the perfect glass. But the beauty is, it's one of a kind. Once it drops, it's broken. You can't reboot. It's not a game. It's a real stuff. This brings aesthetic pleasures, emotional pleasure. That's so critical. But the reason I did this project is not for the music. This is for my mom. I have a dream to give a gift to my mom, which has a weather forecast of Sapporo City. It's our hometown. So when she wakes up, she opens up the bottles. So today's a fine day. So she cooked for me and my young sister 1,000 times opening soy sauce bottles. Opening soy sauce bottles, fragrance come. That's a word she understands, beautiful word. Why we have to ask all the people to learn cell phone or computers, forcing them to learn like an Emacs, ESC sequence, like stupid artificial language, which has nothing to do with her. She never used any machine, cell phone, but she has a beautiful word, and she took care of me. So she passed away in 1998, but there are so many things about what I learned from her. So future is very important. So I'm so happy to be with you guys. But 2050, I'm going somewhere else. My students say, may call it right wrong. But the wonderful news is, all together, 2100s, nobody can survive. But the future continues. Future never stops. It's not the next quarter, not a retirement, not just death, but there's the people in 2000s. If you're creators or visionary, how do you want to be remembered by people? Your idea, not name. What will you leave for them? That's a question I've been asking to myself, my students, and my colleagues. Memento mori. After the light, infinite, eternal future is waiting for us. Thank you very much. Thank you.